In this video, what I'm going to do is talk about my workflow of using my DAWless rig, because everyone's a bit different, and that's sort of what's exciting about DAWless stuff, is that everyone uses their gear in their own special way. Now, I've been trying to think about how to sort of best do this, and I think it's probably best to start with the mixers, which is probably also the most boring place to start, but is the important thing in a DAWless rig about how you glue it all together. So I have two mixers in my setup. I have this one, which is a Volca mix. I used to have a load of other Volcas, but I got rid of them all. And then I have this Zoom H8 recorder, which you can't actually see, but now you can, which is actually a recording device, an 8-channel recording device, but I use it as also a little sub-mixer and a recorder to use at the same time. I also then have a line out of that and into this camera, which is GoPro Hero 9, which is the audio you'll hear when I play things. And then you'll hear the audio from my Sony camcorder CX405 when I'm talking. Into the Volca mix, I have 4 sources. First thing is my Bhering Poly D. This also is my controller keyboard, but we'll come back to that later. So Poly D is this. Currently it's just a square wave. It's great, very analog. I got it because I wanted to learn about synthesis in the old school method of synthesis. I quite like it. It's not potentially as useful as I wanted it to be. 304 oscillator, quite fun. And yes, it's fed into the Volca mix. Of the Volca mix, I have one send. This is called a daisy pod or a daisy seed. So it's sort of in the same kind of veins as like a Raspberry Pi. So it's a configurable chip that has different effects in. So when it's green, it's delay, sorry. When it's blue, it's a reverb, which is what I normally have it on. And then when it's purple, can't really hear it because it always has to be in tandem with the source itself, but it's a bit crusher. And what I love about the reverb is when it's turned all the way up, it's kind of almost infinite, and then you can use the Volca mix to feed it back into itself, and then on the Volca mix you have a little tone control. Get kind of crazy feedback happening. So that's the other channel on the right hand side, is the reverb return, and then in the middle my Mellotron. Which I love. And the reason I love it is because in a DAWless setup, when you're on Logic or something like that, you have access to every plugin you could possibly think of. You can have strings, you can have pianos, you can have choirs, anything you like. But in DAWless, you don't always have that. And what I wanted was something that I could kind of use to create all these sounds out of one. So I've got a sort of 70s synth, and then this kind of gives me, if I need some strings, it can do strings. If I need a vibraphone, it can do vibraphone. And then if I turn the reverb up, you can kind of you can do fun things like that. Final sound I have, let's just turn that off, is my Vibe Machine Reface CP. Which is just lovely. I realised recently that most of the stuff in my studio is very unsynthy. It's actually mostly kind of 70s vibe things. It's nice, I quite like it. And then you can do this. The secret trick of the Reface CP is if you use your tone selector and put it halfway between Rhodes 1 and Rhodes 2 and turn it back on, you get which I don't tell you about. But Reface CP is great. It's got reverb building, which is lovely, delays, digital delay, which if you crank all the way up is infinite. It's not quite a looper, but it allows you to just kind of build up strange textures. Okay, does that. Lots of weird things, phases, chorus, tremolos and wahs. You get a lot of kind of like, yeah. That kind of lovely stuff actually feeds directly into the Zoom. It doesn't go through the Volca mix. So the Volca really has two mono sources in the Mellotron and the Poly D, and a reverb return, because neither of these devices have their own reverb, whereas the Reface CP has its own reverb and delay and effects built in. And so I thought I didn't really need to have a send going out to other effects. Now, the other two things I have is, recently I got a Stylophone Beat, which you can see here, and you can see last 2 or 3 weeks videos I did some little rundowns on these. I really like the hip hop beat on this. Haven't used it a whole lot yet, but what I did do was I sampled it into the OP1 field, which this device, having said everything else in my rig is kind of 70s, the OP1 field is obviously not 70s, and this is really where all my kind of fun patches come from. And these are very overpriced, I am aware, but this really triggered this whole kind of journey into DAWless, and for that I can't really fault it. But what I have done on this is so this is a sample of the Stylophone Beat. Anyway, the Stylophone Beat is very tactile and lots of fun, but it feels a bit plasticky and then it might break. And so I thought I better just sample the drum sound that I like in case it did. This feeds into the Volca in the auxiliary return, which is great. It goes in, there's no EQs, no send, anything else, it just goes straight back out and into the Zoom H8. Now, the Zoom H8, I'll just pan the camera. So I have just a standard module. So the output of the Volca mix goes into a little mini jack line in on the top. I then have a microphone input which goes to here, which is not plugged in at the moment because I don't really do much singing on this. The Reface CP goes in here, that's mono, and then this is the output from the OP1. Coming out of the H8, there's a feed that goes to my speakers, which are sort of Bose kind of computer desktop speakers, which are actually really great and have really good bass response, and they're only small and sit in the corners. And then the other output can either feed a set of headphones, or at the moment comes out and plugs into this camera, and that is how you're hearing this. And if I needed to, and I was trying to do a song or something like that, the Zoom H8 actually is an 8-channel recorder as well, so I can record everything in there, and if I needed to do some mixing in post, that is how I would do it. That's my DAWless setup. It's such a personal bit of thing, your DAWless rig, and this has been almost a year of building this to get it to this point, that I wanted to show it off because it's quite exciting. And I've been slowly building out the video gear, and it's now at a point where I think, I mean, this is kind of where I want it. So I thought I'd show it off. If you like the channel, please like and subscribe and hit the notification button and all that stuff, because I would love for more of you to see what I'm doing. And give me some notes below about what you'd like to see, because I would love to know what you'd want to see me do on my channel, because there's many other people out there doing lots of stuff, but maybe there's something that is not seen that you would like to see. Thanks for watching.